The wait continues, guys. Manchester United still have not been able to get 5 wins on the bounce, and it looks like for the United Strand, he's not going to get a haircut anytime soon. Manchester United just drew West Ham, and they had already gone on a four-game winning streak. This was going to be the fifth one, and I have to say, I think Manchester United fans may have gotten carried away. It was a big game for both teams, as Manchester United needed to win to keep their advantage as the fourth position in this top four race. West Ham needed a win to get level on points in Nottingham Forest in 16th or 17th. So I think it was a very big game. But then I also think Michael Carrick made a few mistakes. Like, I'm not entirely sure what the whole idea was of putting in so many crosses without a striker. Casemiro had a goal that was disallowed. It was quite a dramatic game. I mean, it was a snooze fest in the first half, and it was a tight game in my opinion because everybody was trying to be very careful not to make a mistake. But the first goal was very important, and I think that was really shocking defending from Luke Shaw and no tracking of Soucek, who was coming from the midfield at all. So you also have to say that Šeško did a brilliant job of saving them because this could have been a very embarrassing loss. But I do think that Manchester United may have gotten carried away, especially the fans. And I'm saying that because the game against Man City was brilliant. The game against Arsenal was brilliant. The game against Fulham was not as good because it was a last-minute winner. A win is a win at the end of the day. And the game against Tottenham have been horrible. They even lost today. They're 16th. And the red card really did not play into Tottenham's hands and also helped Manchester United. So I have to say that maybe this was a bit of a reality check. West Ham have been fairly decent recently because they had 3 wins from their last 4 before this game. So I do think that maybe this was a bit of a reality check. But is this just a minor speed bump? I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. There's still so many games to play, and I think Manchester United will still be fine. But ultimately, you have to say that maybe this was a good reality check for where Manchester United are because the football has not been the best, but there have been improvements, and you cannot take that away from them. But altogether, 13 points from the last 15. You can't complain too much about that. You know, United were struggling to get that in their term under Ruben Amorim. So fair enough. I think it's a decent result, but they would have loved a win. But let's talk about the major things about the game. I mean, I think before this game, everybody was so focused on this United Strand thing, like, oh, 4 games in a row, could it be 5? But then, it just didn't happen. That's not what happened at the end of the day. And I mean, I think that was where everybody's focus was on. I was also looking at it. I was watching the stream. He had about 230,000 people watching on Kick, which I thought was insane for the numbers. Like, that's such a big number of people who were watching. And I think that's how important this has become. And it has also shown how bad Manchester United have been over the past few years. For somebody to say, I'm not going to cut my hair until Manchester United win 5 games in a row. You know how bad United have been playing recently or in the past few years. This guy has gone 493 days without cutting his hair, and United have still not been able to win 5 games in a row, and that's going to start from the beginning. But altogether, I don't think this was a bad result because, like I said, West Ham have been playing well, United have been playing well, but then this is still 13 points from 15 possible points under Michael Carrick. So I don't think it was too much of a bad one for them. But let's talk about the gamble in terms of not having a striker today. I know that Šeško does not seem like he's going to be a starter for Manchester United anytime soon. It's like there's no trust with... I feel like saying with Carrick, but he was also not starting many games under Amorim. So maybe there's a lot of development for him to do. I think that overall, it's affected them today because in the first half I saw Manchester United create a number of chances and they were crossing a lot, but the crosses were not going to anyone. There was nobody in the box to capitalize on them, and ultimately when you look at how the game ended, it was from a cross that came to a striker. In fact, their second best chance in this game was for Xerxes, and when Xerxes had that header, it was going like just wide, and literally like the keeper had no chance of saving that. So you have to say that ultimately, I think it was a big risk to not start a striker today, and I think he came to bite them it came to bite them at the end of the day because they could have won that game. It was very winnable for them. You have to say that at the end of the game, when Manchester United really pushing for that winner, West Ham had some really good chances, and I think they were just wasteful. More importantly, I think Leny Yoro really saved Manchester United today because, yes, it ended 1-1, but this could have been 3-1 or 3-0 because United gave up some chances as they were trying to go forward to attack. And what happened was that we saw a chance for Callum Wilson, who took probably too many touches, but Yoro was there and he was alert. And I think Maguire might be injured. I think that's one thing to check for Manchester United. But I mean, Yoro saved them in that moment. And even at the end of the game as well, Traoré had a chance and probably as well too many touches as well. And Yoro made a beautiful tackle. So I think Yoro did save Manchester United in this game and hid some of the defensive flaws in this game. But I don't want to call them too many defensive flaws because Manchester United were trying to throw the kitchen sink at it to try and get at least a draw from this game. And at the end of the day, they were successful and Yoro did his job. So I think that's a good one from them. But I do think we need to talk about the defensive lapses. Like, I'm not sure what Shaw was thinking. Like, the ball came, and I think every single person who has played football, whether as a professional or just for fun, they always tell you, do not let the ball bounce. And I don't know what he was thinking there. Maybe he just thought it was not too much of anything to worry about. It came from a clearance from the West Ham defender. And he just let the ball bounce. And from there, Bowen was able to take full advantage of that and go forward and get the cross in for Soucek. And he was not being tracked by any single person. And I think this is something that Manchester United have failed to do for a long time. They're not tracking certain runs. I think the level of alertness and maybe excellence is a problem for United right now. And it's starting to show again. I don't think it's something to worry too much about, but it's starting to show again. Honestly, I think that was really disappointing. But United had a chance. They actually put the ball in the back of the net before the end of the game. It was Casemiro, but it was just offside, really, really tight. But you can see that they still are able to create chances, and I think that's one good thing that we've seen under Michael Carrick. They're able to create chances, and you can see that this team, there are positives for this team. And it was even a Mino cross. So I don't know what on earth Mino was doing on the bench. And he even had some good interceptions in the first half. So I don't know what he was doing on the bench under Amorim. And maybe United fans must be so grateful that Amorim is gone. But the past is in the past and we have to move forward. But we have to talk about Šeško's equalizer at the end of the game. I think that was a brilliant finish. And I wonder why he doesn't get to start. That was a brilliant finish, and recently he's been saving United. He saved them against Fulham and he saved them again today. So what more does he have to do to get a start? He's a striker. Yes, I understand that they want to play Cunha and Mbeumo. Those are two really good players and two really good signings that they have. But then you need a striker, because if you're crossing so many chances, who's going to convert the chances? Who's actually going to convert the chances? So you need a striker in there. And I think Šeško has done enough in the past few games to earn a start. But I'm not the coach. I don't know what's best for this team. I'm only watching it as a fan. And I'm just going to tell you what I think. You can disagree with it or not. But I do think that it was a good equalizer for them. Save them from some embarrassment. English can be so difficult sometimes. But then ultimately, I look at West Ham. This was going to be a big win for them if they got the win, but unfortunately, they were not able to pick up the win. And now they've dropped 2 points in this game. That's how they will look at it, because they had 3 points at home, and then they dropped 2 points with a late minute equalizer. So the unfortunate thing for them is that they go back to being at least 2 points behind Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest will play tomorrow. So disappointing for them. But overall, do I think Manchester United are on the right track? I still do think that under Carrick, there's not too much to worry about. Like I said, if you've won 4 from your first 5, gotten 13 points from 15, I don't think it's anything bad. Don't get distracted about the fact that they've not won 5 games in a row. That is just, it's what it is. It's for entertainment, and it's something that we just love to see as neutrals. Like, oh, when Manchester United finally win 5 games, well, this guy cuts his hair. But the simple truth is this has not been too bad. But I do think it was a reality check for Manchester United to show that there's still some frailties, there's still some weaknesses in this team, and they still need to work on 1 or 2 things. Now, the question is it going to be next season? Are they going to sign more players? I don't think they have enough depth. I think they're a team that don't have too much on the bench to help them when they're going forward. So is this going to be one of those things where they have to consider? Because the question really is, are they going to back Carrick? If they back Carrick, they need to make sure that they give him everything he needs to create a team that is ready to win titles and ready to go as far as possible, possibly in the Champions League, because if they finish in the top 4, they're going to go to the Champions League. And this is something interesting because they don't have too many games to play. I mean, and I hear they're not even training as much. I don't know how true that is. But when you now have the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, expecting to go far, and also playing in Europe as well, there's a lot more to consider. So yes, they've had space between matches, but you need to think about these things, that there's a lot for them to think about in general. So I think it's not too bad a result for Manchester United. Heartbreak for West Ham, but overall, they just have to lick their wounds and get back up and go for the next game. But that's all I have to say for this game. I think it was really interesting to watch as a neutral. As a Liverpool fan, actually, I'm very happy that Manchester United and Chelsea both dropped points today. You should be able to see the Chelsea game somewhere here. Yeah. And I think that's that for this video. While you're here, please don't forget to like, share with a friend, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this game, let me know what you think about this video in general, and before you go, make sure you subscribe and check out one of these videos right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.